Part of the Barron approach is that we stick with our discipline. We're not trying to go with the flavor of the day. We all do one thing. We invest in high-quality growth businesses, run by value-creating private sector entrepreneurs.
When we look at competitive advantage amongst our companies, it's probably the most important aspect of the total research around that company.
It's speaking to customers, it's speaking to competitors, it's speaking to industry consultants, it's speaking to other financial analysts, and just trying to get the sense of who is best positioned when you need to fulfill this critical task. What company do you rely on?
That near obsession with the long-term sustainability of these companies, I think, is one thing. Second is having an independent perspective, not just accepting the status quo.
How did I become an expert in my area? There's no substitute for hard work and experience and building relationships with the companies, with other investors, understanding the different industry trends.
I think it matters of years of spending time with industry experts, talking to our companies, looking for pattern recognition, what makes business potentially special, and better position to generate outsized portion of growth within growing markets.
We really do think in terms of 3 to 5 year time horizons, and it really is a competitive differentiation.
We don't really worry about the next quarter's earnings. We're not constantly trading up and down, buying and selling stocks based on quarterly earnings. And we're more long-term in nature, meeting companies and management teams and making sure our thesis and trends are intact.
Ron has set a culture that's very long-term oriented.
I think pound for pound, we get more management access than many of our peers.
I joined Barron because it had a great reputation with investors, but it had a phenomenal reputation with management teams. And the reason for that was that they did wonderful and deep diligence, but also that they were long-term investors when, in fact, they decided to invest.
I was in a meeting just yesterday, and the CEO complimented us on these are different questions, or it's nice to focus on the long term. It's just a different dialogue. Ron says, we're not renters of stocks, but we're owners of businesses.
Our view is really the more minds or the more analysts or portfolio managers that we can have on our side of the table, the better questions we can ask, the more robust discussion that we can have, and the more holistic understanding that we can gain.
We want to really understand what makes a company different, what makes a company special, why are you able to do something that no one else can do? And why should we think that this company is going to be able to innovate and continue to have that sustainable competitive advantage?
Barron Capital has a different investment process and philosophy. And it really comes down to being a long-term investor in what we consider great companies. Companies that are going to be significantly larger in the future. Companies that have real sustainable competitive advantages, and companies that we get to know the management teams and we like them and trust them.
One thing I learned from Ron is even the simplest questions can elicit the best responses from management.
If a manager strikes us as not a good person, in very loose definition, we really don't want to be involved in the company.
We'll spend time talking to a management team, but then we'll go out to the field and talk to competitors and customers and suppliers and try to gain insight on certain issues, take those findings back and ask questions in different ways until we really have a holistic, complete understanding of a business and its environment.
There aren't 1 or 2 analysts and maybe 1 or 2 portfolio managers who typically participate in a meeting. You will often see 5 or 6 portfolio managers and 2 or 3 analysts. And what that changes is the type of discourse.
Being a critical part of the emerging markets international team, covering a lot of investments, in countries like India, China, Brazil, have truly given me perspective on different business models across different countries.
Mettler, Toledo is a leading provider of weighing instruments in laboratories. Ron said to me, well, if we like the stock at 80, we should like it more at 60. And he proceeded to purchase a substantial amount of shares late 2008, early 2009. Here we are today, and the stock is around $1,200 a share. So it turned out to be a very substantial return.
I've used the Wayne Gretzky quote, why is Gretzky a great player? I skate to where the puck is going, not where it's been. That's what we do at Barron.
We have an investment philosophy that works and I very much believe in. We have a management team that's committed to our business in terms of investing in the people. our products, and our infrastructure, and we attract exceptional talent. I like being associated with a winner, and I think I found a winner in Barron Capital.